What up, YouTube? Here with a review video of Bad Blood, and this is how I do my wrestling review videos. For those of y'all that are new to this channel, I give every match that happened on the card a match rating out of a 5, and at the end of the review, I will give the overall event a rating out of a 10. And without any further ado, let's get to the reviewing part. The opening contest to Bad Blood was a Hell in a Cell match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Now, I can say this was probably the best rivalry for the year 2024. It was intense, and the rivalry was personal, and I can say this was the appropriate way to close a chapter for both of them with their bitter rivalry. And they were at one win apiece. Punk won their last match, which was a strap match at Bash at the Berlin. And at SummerSlam, Drew McIntyre won that match. And at Bad Blood tonight, they competed in a Hell in a Cell match. And this was, I can confidently say, the best match out of all three matches that Punk and McIntyre had. And CM Punk got the better of Drew McIntyre, and I don't think they're going to continue this rivalry after how this match went down. And this match, I'll give a rating of a 4 out of a 5. Now, all their matches were good. The first match that they had at SummerSlam, good. The second match at Bash at the Berlin, good. Tonight's match at Hell in a Cell, good as well. The most gruesome, the most brutal match that I saw out of their three matches that they had. And this match, it really showed that Bad Blood side, and it matched the gimmick of the PLE title of Bad Blood. We saw CM Punk get busted open first when Drew McIntyre launched him towards the cage like a missile. Then he did a blade job, and then Punk, to escape the grasp of McIntyre, grabbed a toolbox and bashed McIntyre over the head with it, which led to McIntyre being busted open, and they were both bleeding profusely. McIntyre was bleeding a lot more than Punk was, though, I can say that. And there were numerous highlight reel spots in this match, more than their second match at Bash at the Berlin, because we can expect that from a Hell in a Cell match, because there's more freedom for wrestlers to be more creative with how they're gonna utilize hardcore spots throughout the course of the match, because in a strap match, it's only so much that the wrestlers competing in that match can do because they're strapped to each other. And then at SummerSlam, the only gimmick for their first match was that there was a special guest referee, which was Seth Rollins, and there wasn't no disqualifications or no countouts like the strap match or like the Hell in a Cell match that we saw at Bad Blood tonight. And unlike their match at Bash at the Berlin, they weren't strapped to each other. They were competing in a Hell in a Cell steel cage, and that means they got to do whatever that they please to get the better of each other. And CM Punk and McIntyre both hit their respective finishers, both of them kicking out of their finishing moves. And that goes to show that false finishes for bitter, intense rivalries such as Punk versus McIntyre is necessary for the dramatic and excitement factor of how personal and how long this rivalry lasted between the two. Because ever since Punk returned to the WWE, Drew McIntyre was one of the first rivals that got to face off with CM Punk. And then this rivalry has been brewing since WrestleMania at April of this year. And CM Punk got the win after he shoved the beads down Drew McIntyre's mouth after McIntyre went for the Claymore and nobody was there, and McIntyre landed on the steel steps and on the beads as well, giving Punk time to recuperate and recover from his injuries that was tallying up throughout the course of the match. And when Punk got back up on his feet, he waited for McIntyre to get back up, and while McIntyre was recovering, Punk wrapped a steel chain around his knees, and he would hit the GTS with that steel chain wrapped amongst his knee after he shoved the bead down Drew McIntyre's mouth. That was like a bittersweet revenge for CM Punk, because Drew McIntyre had stolen that bracelet that was made from beads that CM Punk dearly possessed, and that's what made the rivalry that much more personal between Punk and McIntyre. And for Punk to do that, to close out this rivalry and this match that we saw at Bad Blood tonight, was a proper way of finishing that rivalry between Punk and McIntyre. And as I have said, this was the best match out of the 3 matches that we saw CM Punk and Drew McIntyre compete in. And this was, I can confidently say as well, the best match throughout the whole entire card of Bad Blood. And I don't think there was any other matches that I'm going to give a rating of a 4 out of a 5 other than this match that we saw for the opening match to Bad Blood. And this was for sure definitely the proper way to start a PLE event, because it got the fans riled up. It got the crowd to anticipate and set the pace up for the rest of the PLE. And it's kind of hard for the rest of the show, with whatever was remaining for the rest of the PLE, to match the standard of what we saw for the opening match to Bad Blood. And then the next match we saw was for the WWE Women's title. Nia Jax defending her women's title versus Bayley. This was a rematch from SummerSlam, where Nia Jax won that match and took that title from Bayley. And this was Bayley's shot at redemption, at gaining back that women's title that she lost at SummerSlam. And Nia Jax ended up getting the win, and Tiffany Stratton helped Nia Jax get the win, because Tiffany Stratton made her entrance during the midst of the match when both wrestlers were down, and her entrance music hit, meaning that she was more likely going to cash in the Money in the Bank contract for her to become the women's champion, with both wrestlers being down and out. And when Bayley got back up on her feet, Tiffany Stratton would lay her back down by hitting her over the head with that Money in the Bank briefcase, and then she would relentlessly continue attacking Bayley with that Money in the Bank briefcase. And with Nia Jax being out cold, Tiffany Stratton found the opportune time to seize that opportunity of possibly cashing in a Money in the Bank contract to have a chance at her becoming the women's champion and walking out with that title at Bad Blood. But Nia Jax would get back up like as if she was Kane or The Undertaker, and would catch Tiffany Stratton in the midst of her act of her attempting to cash in that Money in the Bank contract. And then Nia Jax would confront Tiffany Stratton for Tiffany Stratton attempting to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase, when Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton has built an alliance of teaming with each other. And Nia Jax felt betrayed by Tiffany Stratton when that's why she confronted Tiffany Stratton about Tiffany Stratton attempting to cash in on that opportune moment of her cashing in her Money in the Bank contract. And then Tiffany Stratton, in defense of her actions, she'll say she wasn't trying to cash in the Money in the Bank contract. Nia Jax kept on pressuring her while confronting her. And then Bayley attempt to take opportunity of that distracting moment where Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton butted heads. But that wouldn't do much because what's her name? Nia Jax would take opportunity of Tiffany Stratton being her friend, and Tiffany Stratton to hit Bayley once again, giving Nia Jax the upper hand, and then Nia Jax to hit the Samoan drop from the top rope, and then to finish the match, she'll sit on Bayley to get the win and successfully defend her WWE Women's title. And with her retaining the title, I'm looking forward to what's going to be next over there on SmackDown with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton and how their relationship is going to work out. And I'll give this match between Nia Jax and Bayley a match rating out of a 3 out of a 5. And if y'all haven't seen any clips from Bad Blood, at least suggest y'all go check out the footages of the Hell in a Cell match between Punk and McIntyre. That, if y'all can't watch that match in its entirety, y'all go check out highlight reel clips and highlight reel spots that happened throughout the match. I'm not going to go over all the highlight reel spots that happened throughout that match. I would have had to be more intricate and more detailed about it, but to save the attention span and the time of the video and the duration of the video, I'm not going to go over all the highlight reel spots. I'm going to go over as much as I can, but I'm not going to be able to cover all this that happened in the whole entire match all throughout the card of Bad Blood. Anyways, next match on the card we saw was a match between two former partners, two former Judgment Day members, Damien Priest versus Finn Balor. And this rivalry began after what had taken place at SummerSlam, where Finn Balor costed Damien Priest a chance of him becoming world champion when he faced Gunther when he was in defense of his world heavyweight title at SummerSlam. And Finn Balor helped aid Gunther get the win over on Damien Priest when it looked as if Damien Priest had the match won secure. And then we saw at Bash at the Berlin, Damien Priest and Rhea Ripley, two former members of the Judgment Day, get retribution by defeating Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan at Bash at the Berlin. But Damien Priest didn't get his hands on Finn Balor, who initially started that betrayal to Damien Priest by costing him that World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam. Yes, Damien Priest got to get his hands on two other Judgment Day members, but it wasn't Finn Balor who kicked off that betrayal to Damien Priest. And then at Bad Blood, we saw that rivalry come to a brewing point, and the match itself was a decent match. I'll give this match a rating of a 3 out of a 5. It was a good back and forth action we saw out of these two. Damien Priest got the better of Finn Balor in this match, getting the win, even with the distraction that came from the Judgment Day in assistance to Finn Balor and host for the Judgment Day to help Finn Balor get the win. Carlito and JD McDonough came out to make a interference on the behalf of Finn Balor, but that didn't work because Damien Priest, even after JD McDonough had put his hands on Damien Priest, Finn Balor hit the coup de grace, but that wouldn't mean nothing to Damien Priest because Damien Priest would be able to kick out. And then when JD McDonough made a second attempt to interfere in this match, Damien Priest tossed JD McDonough out the ring and onto Carlito. And then Damien Priest hit the South of Heaven onto Finn Balor to secure the win. And I don't know if this rivalry is going to continue because Damien Priest got the dominant, clear victory over on Finn Balor. And it looks as if the rivalry between the Terror Twins, Rhea Ripley and Damien Priest versus the Judgment Day, is going to continue because of what happened between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. And Finn Balor did look disappointed and disgruntled after his loss to Damien Priest, but there's still other remaining members of the Judgment Day, such as Carlito, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio, and it most likely going to be where the Judgment Day is going to continue bothering Damien Priest. If Damien Priest is done with the Judgment Day after defeating Finn Balor at Bad Blood and defeating Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio at Bash at Berlin, he can go on to what's going to possibly happen at Crown Jewel, because Triple H did announce that there's going to be a Crown Jewel title tournament where the winner of that tournament is going to get a title shot in the future. Now, if Damien Priest, who hasn't got a rematch for the World Heavyweight title that he lost at SummerSlam, is obviously going to look forward to getting that title back. And if he wants that title back, he's going to want to compete in that tournament. And if he's going to want to help assist Rhea Ripley to help fight off the Judgment Day, then he's going to be in that picture with Rhea Ripley taking on the Judgment Day. And speaking of Rhea Ripley, let's talk about the next match that happened on the card. It was a match for the Women's World title, Liv Morgan defending her Women's World title versus Rhea Ripley. And this was Rhea Ripley's opportunity at her gaining back the title that she never lost. And Rhea Ripley had that opportunity when she got to wrestle Liv Morgan at SummerSlam, but Dominic Mysterio ended up screwing Rhea Ripley out of that title win that she could have got over on Liv Morgan. And that's where the initial betrayal from Dominic Mysterio came from, when he decided to side with Liv Morgan and turn on Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley got a taste of vengeance when she got to defeat both Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio at Bash at the Berlin when she teamed with Damien Priest. And this was her second chance after her controversial defeat at SummerSlam to gain back the Women's World title. And this time, we had Dominic Mysterio be neutralized because he was locked in a shark cage hanging from the roof of the arena. And Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, they have good chemistry together because they came up together. They were both in the developmental stages together, and they both were working together. They were, I believe, former tag team champions as well before they got their push. And that's why they're not strangers to each other. And the match itself was like any other match that we saw Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley compete in the past. And there was a comedic factor that was displayed in this match. When Dominic Mysterio fought to get out that cage, he ended up hanging upside down from his foot on. And then Rhea Ripley saw that, and when Rhea Ripley saw that Dominic Mysterio was hanging upside down, she grabbed a kendo stick and started whooping on Dominic Mysterio, and Liv Morgan was out of there because the work that Rhea Ripley had put on Liv Morgan was enough to lay Liv Morgan down for a while. And then out of nowhere, Raquel Rodriguez would come out, making her return, and she would attack Rhea Ripley, having this match end in a disqualification win for Rhea Ripley. Now, this is a clear indicator that the rivalry is going to continue with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title. And now that Raquel Rodriguez has returned, and y'all remember Rhea Ripley took out both Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan when they were tag team champions last year. And Liv Morgan, she wanted vengeance on Rhea Ripley for Rhea Ripley taking her out of action. And now Raquel Rodriguez has returned for that same exact reason. And will Raquel Rodriguez join Liv Morgan, her friend, and her former tag team champion, as a part of the Judgment Day? And of course, Rhea Ripley is going to continue chasing the title that she never lost. And with how this match resulted tonight at Bad Blood, Rhea Ripley is going to be guaranteed another shot at that women's world title. And I'll give this match a rating of a 2.5 out of a 5. If I would be generous, I'd say 3, but I think the fair rating for this match, because this match, it wasn't nothing special. It was a regular match with a non-strong finish to it. Hence why I'll give this match a rating of a 2.5 out of a 5. And then the next match that we saw was the main event tag team match. We saw the Bloodline consisting of Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu taking on the unexpected alliance of the WWE Universal Champion Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. And this alliance happened after Solo Sikoa took charge of the Bloodline after the hiatus of Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns took a break like he usually does after WrestleMania, where he was dethroned by Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. And Solo Sikoa took the initiative of implementing change to the Bloodline, making it more ruthless, making it more aggressive, and adding new members to the Bloodline consisting of Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, who are the current WWE Tag Team Champions. If y'all saw the latest episode of SmackDown, they had a heck of a tag team ladder match along with DIY and the Street Profits, where they defeated both DIY and the Street Profits to successfully retain their WWE Tag Team titles at SmackDown last night. And Jacob Fatu was the latest acquisition to the Bloodline. When Jacob Fatu made his WWE debut at summer of this year, and they've been very dominant, helping rejuvenate the Bloodline. And Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns, who was known as the Tribal Chief, who started the Bloodline. And when Roman Reigns started the Bloodline, he was running with the Usos, and then later Solo Sikoa joined as the enforcer. And then how the evolution of the Bloodline worked was after WrestleMania 40, Solo Sikoa hired Jacob Fatu as the enforcer to the renewed, rejuvenated Bloodline. And the brothers of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa winning the tag team titles, it helped the Bloodline gain legitimacy, even though over there on SmackDown, they are the hot ticket, the best thing going, I can say, over there on SmackDown. And Roman Reigns, him having the reputation of being the Tribal Chief, took on this new moniker, the original Tribal Chief, because Solo Sikoa gave himself the reputation of telling the WWE Universe that he is the Tribal Chief now, and he runs throughout the SmackDown locker room with that sacred flower over his neck that we are so used to seeing Roman Reigns have over his neck. And then Cody Rhodes, who's been beefing with the Bloodline ever since Cody Rhodes been chasing that WWE Universal title, and now that he's the champion, Solo Sikoa has been attempting to gain the WWE Universal title back to the Bloodline. And whenever Solo Sikoa get a shot at that title, Roman Reigns end up costing him that win of that potential win for Solo Sikoa to bring the WWE Universal title back to the Bloodline. And hence why this match happened at the main event of tonight's Bad Blood. And the match itself was quite good. I'll give this match a rating of a 3.5 out of a 5. And surprisingly, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes ended up getting the win. And how they got the win was thanks to Jimmy Uso. Now, this wasn't that much of a surprise. I didn't hear too much rumors from the dirt sheets that Jimmy Uso was going to be coming back. Jimmy Uso was taken out of action back in April of this year after WrestleMania on the following episode of SmackDown after WrestleMania 40, and Solo Sikoa made that move of kicking out Jimmy Uso from the Bloodline after Roman Reigns was unsuccessful in his defense of the WWE Universal title at WrestleMania, and that was the debut of Tama Tonga, the right hand of destruction to the rejuvenated Bloodline. And Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa took out Jimmy Uso by attacking Jimmy Uso. And that was the initial signs of change within the Bloodline. And that's how this rejuvenated Bloodline started, by Solo Sikoa making that move. And when Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa interfered on the behalf of the Bloodline during the midst of the match, Jimmy Uso came out of nowhere from the crowd with that same disguised look, with that bandana around his face and with that hoodie on, and he was super kick both the tag team champions unconscious, and he would reveal himself like he did at SummerSlam last year when he costed Jay a potential win at the WWE Universal title when he wrestled Roman Reigns under a Bloodline rules match. And Jimmy Uso distracted Solo Sikoa by taking out the brothers Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and then that spare moment of distraction helped Roman Reigns get the win by hitting the spear on Solo Sikoa to get the win. And Jacob Fatu was taken out after Cody Rhodes hit a splash from the top rope onto the announce table, much like how Jacob Fatu hit the splash from the top rope onto Cody Rhodes through the announce table at SummerSlam. And it was surprising to see Cody Rhodes pull off that move, because Cody Rhodes, he doesn't get that aerial, and Cody Rhodes isn't a reputable guy when it comes to having that lucha libre high flying style. So it was quite cool to see him try a different move, and it's a refreshing look when a wrestler does a counter move where they take their opponent's finisher, and I thought that was quite clever. And it's looking like the rivalry between the Bloodline and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, and now with Jimmy Uso back in the picture, is going to continue. Now the next PLE is Crown Jewel, and that's going to be hosted in Saudi Arabia as always. Now we know after Triple H announced that there's going to be a Crown Jewel champion title at Crown Jewel, with the winner from both the women's division and men's division having a guaranteed title shot. Whoever wins the each respective Crown Jewel championship at Crown Jewel. And also, there's probably going to be a world title match between Gunther and Sami Zayn. We saw Gunther come out while Triple H was announcing that Crown Jewel title for Crown Jewel, which is the next PLE, as I had mentioned, for the WWE that they got scheduled. And Gunther came out and confronted Bill Goldberg, who was in attendance watching the show. And if y'all don't remember, on the episode of Raw, when Raw was being hosted in Calgary, which is the hometown where Bret Hart is from, Gunther confronted Bret Hart, saying that Bret Hart is overrated and that his favorite wrestler of all time is Bill Goldberg, who costed Bret Hart's career back in WCW. And that was what, 20 years ago, almost 24 years ago? Back in 2000 is when Bret Hart's career ended after Goldberg landed a super kick on him. And Goldberg, who was watching the show, as I had said, Gunther take back that compliment and said that he had only mentioned Goldberg's name and said that Goldberg was his favorite wrestler of all time to get under the skin of Bret Hart, and that Goldberg is a one-dimensional wrestler with overrated skills and was a hype job. And then Goldberg came to confront Gunther, and then the security would get in the way, and then Sami Zayn would come out of nowhere and lay hands and attack Gunther. After Gunther attacked him, after accepting Sami Zayn's call out for Sami Zayn challenging Gunther for that World Heavyweight title, and Sami Zayn being a Syrian wrestler, which isn't too far from Saudi Arabia, and whenever Sami Zayn gets to wrestle in Saudi Arabia, he gets that homecoming treatment from the Saudi Arabian crowd, hence why that match between Zayn and Gunther is most likely going to be the main event to Crown Jewel, which is the next PLE for the WWE that they have scheduled. And Survivor Series is their next PLE after Crown Jewel, and it's probably going to be yet another War Games main event match for Survivor Series instead of the traditional elimination tag team match that Survivor Series has been known for. WWE had revamped and rejuvenated Survivor Series by adding War Games as the gimmick match for Survivor Series. And with this new brewing tension in the Bloodline, we're probably going to see a War Games match involving the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso, the original members to the Bloodline. And then we saw The Rock, the final boss, aka the People's Champ, make his return at the end of the show when Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns helped Cody Rhodes fight off the Bloodline, when the Bloodline would go on to assault Cody Rhodes after the match. And then The Rock's music hit. That wasn't expected. Now, Jimmy Uso, it's been talked about that he was going to return for a while now. And now that Jimmy Uso has made his return from being off air, that surprise, which wasn't much of a surprise because Jimmy Uso is still a currently active wrestler, hence why his return wasn't a shock. But there was no talks of The Rock coming back at Bad Blood tonight. And this goes to show that the drama involving the Bloodline and the WWE Universal title is only gonna get more hotter. It's gonna get to its boiling point, and the drama and the intensity is gonna pick up amongst the Bloodline with both The Rock and Jimmy Uso back in the picture. We can only see this rivalry amongst the Bloodline get more intensified, and now we saw what happened between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. They've been at a disagreement along with Randy Orton, who Randy Orton and Kevin Owens has been teaming with each other for a while now, ever since after WrestleMania to fight the Bloodline. And we saw both Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, more Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, get frustrated with the current WWE Universal Champion Cody Rhodes. We saw Randy Orton question Cody Rhodes on an episode of SmackDown about Cody Rhodes' intentions, and if Cody Rhodes is just using Kevin Owens and Randy Orton to fight the Bloodline to help him secure that WWE Universal title. And then Kevin Owens, when him and Randy Orton lost to Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, because the distraction from Cody Rhodes was a botch on Cody Rhodes' part, obviously kayfabe, and then Kevin Owens came to a melting point and let out his frustrations on Cody Rhodes after losing to the Bloodline yet again. And then Randy Orton, thankfully for Cody Rhodes' part, was there to play peacemaker in between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. And then the Bloodline was playing manipulative games to Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes, getting in the ear of Kevin Owens, saying, oh, Cody Rhodes is only using him and Randy Orton to fight the Bloodline, and for Cody Rhodes to selfishly retain, for him to be able to retain that WWE Universal title, which is the only thing Cody Rhodes seems to care about. And then we saw Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens and their relationship coming to a boiling point at the end of Bad Blood. Well, it wasn't even a part of Bad Blood. There was a kayfabe footage that we saw at the parking lot when Cody Rhodes decided that he was gonna go and leave the arena, and Kevin Owens stopped him at his tracks and go on to assault Cody Rhodes when Cody Rhodes attempted to leave the arena after the PLE event. And I don't know what the words was between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, but Kevin Owens, for the first time, put his hands on Cody Rhodes. Now, we saw at Bash at the Berlin them to compete for Cody Rhodes' WWE Universal title, where Cody Rhodes got the better of Kevin Owens. And then Kevin Owens was being a respectful sportsman and shook the hand of Cody Rhodes and showed his respect to Cody Rhodes after the match. And then I don't know what led Kevin Owens, other than what we got to see at SmackDown, for Kevin Owens to attack Cody Rhodes at Bad Blood last night. And on SmackDown, on the next episode of SmackDown, we'll most likely find out what's going to happen and what was said between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. And who knows when The Rock will make his appearance back on WWE Live TV after making his return to the WWE at Bad Blood tonight. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the WWE is going to produce throughout the autumn and winter season. And I'll give Bad Blood a rating of a 8 out of a 10. It was a good, solid wrestling show that we saw tonight. And much credit and shout to the WWE for putting on this strong show tonight. And with that being said, that does it for this review of Bad Blood. hit the subscribe button if y'all want to show y'all support for this channel. And if y'all enjoy this video, click the like button, hit the share button, and click the links in the description to show y'all support for this channel. My social media links are in the description as well, and y'all could follow me on those social media channels as well. That is outside of YouTube, where I post pro wrestling, pro boxing, and other sports content on those social media sites as well. And y'all be good. Peace.